Hello everyone and welcome to Grandstand Sports Data. In today's video, we'll be giving you the round 2 betting preview between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Washington Capitals. We'll be going over the matchup statistically, fundamentally, and then we're breaking down some of the betting insights on this matchup. So let's get right into it. All right, so let's jump into the statistical breakdown first. You're going to see that Carolina, this isn't a case of one team being flat out better, right? It's a case of different paths to success. Washington comes in with more scoring pop and better finishing, as you can see just from the slide. Also ranking top 5 in power rating, SRS, and then all goal differentials. So their special teams are solid as well, and their offensive efficiency, so their shot percentage and finishing, tells you they capitalize when they get chances. But here's the problem. Carolina is a possession monster, right? They rank number one in Corsi, scoring chance percentage, and shot differential. All red factors, which means win percentage in the playoffs. They are huge for selling you playoff success. That's elite level control of the game. So while their finish is near the bottom, their style wears teams down over the course of a series. So, what's the betting impact in this? If the refs are tight, which they usually are in the playoffs, Carolina's elite penalty kill and low penalty tendencies are going to matter. If the series turns physical or Carolina can tilt the ice early, Washington may struggle to keep possession long enough to generate volume, especially if the power play dries up. So, what should you be watching for? If Washington jumps early in game one, that's expected too. They're efficient. But if Carolina is still winning expected goals despite trailing on the scoreboard, that's your cue to book live value or series comeback angles on the Canes. So the final edge you would be looking for, Carolina plays the better series game. Washington might win burst, but if Carolina dictates tempo, the Capitals may get worn out by game 4. Now, looking at it fundamentally, here's where we see the biggest contrast in team identity. Carolina, they're relentless up front. Their forwards dominate possession. Just look at the Corsi 4 percentage. You got Jarvis, Arho, Blake, Svechnikov, all hover in the 60% range. That's nuts. Meaning they're spending most of their shifts in the offensive zone. Even their defensemen like Burns and Orlov, they push play forward as well, making this team suffocating in 5-on-5 stretches. Now compare that over to Washington. Washington has firepower, but not control, right? Ovechkin, Strom, they have strong shooting and finishing rates, but guys like McMichael and Pradas, they're being asked to absorb heavy minutes with Corsi 4 under 43 to 48%. Not good, right? It seems like most of this hockey series is going to be played in Washington's end, meaning they're going to be having to, play very good defense. Speaking of their defense, their decor struggles with tilting the ice, so they don't do a good job at getting out of there. So if they can't break the forecheck, this team could be in trouble and could be in trouble quick. Moving on to goaltending, clear edge to Carolina here. Frederik Andersen plus 11.3 goals saved above average. Says he's not just average, he's bailing them out in some games. Logan Thompson has been solid, right? But not tested under sustained playoff style pressure like this before. What bettors should watch? Well, live betting value on Carolina. So if Washington jumps ahead early, the Canes system tends to grind opponents down as the game and the series goes on. So take a look at that. If Washington is forced to play from behind, they don't control the puck well enough to generate volume shots, and Carolina can smother leads. What should you take away from this now? The series looks like a textbook case of one team can outscore problems short term, but not over 7 games. Carolina's depth, control, and goaltending makes them the more durable side, and they could be undervalued in game 2 and game 3 if they lose a tight opener. Okay, so let's get into the handicap and break down what's real, what's markets noise, all that stuff, right? So forget who had the better season. This slide screams one thing: market mismatch between surface metrics and real edges. Let me break that down for you. So Washington dominates the basic outputs, right? Your rating systems, goal differential, and even strength goal differential. This is what the public and many sportsbooks overweight, right? It shows up in their power rating and probably the opening line. Take a look at that. But Carolina controls every predictive efficiency metric, right? Corsi 4 percentage. That's made $6.11 for every $1 bet. They outshoot and outchance opponents at elite levels. Shot differential and scoring chance percentage, so they're generating the better looks, even if they're not always cashing them in. Now looking at us at Grandstand Sports Data, at our model's Moneyline and spread projections, those favor Carolina as well. That's more reliable and consistent team over a series. Usually that's what we're trying to predict. So what's happening here overall? Washington's inflated goal differential is likely coming from isolated finishing bursts like a red hot power play or a few lopsided wins, not repeatable edge, right? Carolina's approach is more sustainable. They're controlling the puck, limiting bad chances, and getting volume. Exactly what you want in a grinded out playoff matchup. How you would bet these? I would say if the market is still pricing these teams evenly because of these goal differential metrics, there's a serious value on Carolina. Look for live opportunities when Washington scores early, like we've been talking about throughout this video. Carolina's control metrics make them excellent comeback candidates. Game totals could be inflated by Washington's offensive perception. Carolina slows the tempo and limits chaos. So maybe look for the unders in some of these games. The bottom line here is that if you're building long term value, you ride the team with the process over results. Carolina is the sharpest side here, even if Washington looks better on the scoreboard at first glance. Now moving on to some of the money line trends in this. So this isn't just a tale of two seasons, it's a tale of perception versus prediction. Carolina on one side, they're 51 and 36, down 10.1% in terms of the year portfolio. Great record, but terrible value. They were down $8.78 for every $1 bet. This means this team was overvalued all season long. The sharp public was likely chasing metrics like Corsi for percentage, Corsi, and possession, all strong, but pricing pressure killed the value. The takeaway from them is that Carolina is market sharp, not necessarily money making. So there's a difference there. Odds makers priced in their analytical edges maybe too heavily. Or they could have just been taking the end of the season off to get ready for the playoffs. It's another argument that you can make when you're looking at these graphs. Washington, on the other side, they've been 55 and 32 throughout the season, up $13.05 for every $1 bet, and good enough for 15% in your portfolio. So they've been profitable and they're likely undervalued throughout the season. That's been shown, right? So this is often what happens when a team wins ugly. They're not backed by sexy analytics, but consistently get results. Takeaway that you can get from them is that Washington might be the public's blind spot. There's an edge when books and bettors still don't fully buy in. That's one takeaway, but you can also look at it in a different way. When you start seeing a flat line, this could mean that the market is starting to read them correctly. That's how I would take that. So also you also got to look at the other side of the coin. Remember, try to argue both sides here. What should you be watching for in the series? Betting? Fade the inflated Carolina prices. The market has a habit of still pricing them off analytics rather than results. Some people are going to say, hey, that's different from what you've been saying throughout these slides. Remember, I'm giving you the unbiased handicapping from slide to slide. So that's what the trends are saying on this. It doesn't mean that they were saying that in the previous slides. So it's a different storyline. I need to give you the side from both ends, and you got to take it how it is. I'm sorry, that's how sports betting works. Now, you're going to want to monitor steam moves as well. If Washington gets early money, that's a sharp angle. Market overcorrecting to profitability in the trends. So remember that. Live betting value, we talked about this. Carolina's process equals strong late game push potential. So if they fall behind early, it could open up great live money line or even puck line value. We've talked about that throughout the video. It still shows up here. So it's not like I'm trying to give you like a narrative. So the tip that I would give you is that the market is telling you where the value was this year, but value doesn't necessarily always equal better team. You use this data to predict market movement and exposure, not just the outcomes. Okay, so let's finish this off with the series betting lines and some of the predictions from our model. As you can see in the series betting lines, Carolina is the favorite at minus 150, so not too bad of a money line right there, while the Capitals are the dog at plus 130. Spread in the series is going to be Carolina at minus 1.5 games at plus 120, whereas Washington's going to be plus 1.5 at minus 140. So that's showing you right there that they think it's going to be a long series, the market, that Carolina should be the victors, but maybe in 7 games. Looking down at the prediction from our Monte Carlo simulation, 10,000 Monte Carlo simulations, 4 games to 2, we have Carolina. They're winning 64% of those 10,000, while Washington was only winning 36% of those. So, do I agree with the model? I agree that Carolina is going to win the series. I think minus one, grabbing them at minus 150. I could be crazy. I think that's a little bit of, I think that's a kind of a steal. I think Carolina is going to win this, whether it's a long series, a short series, it doesn't matter. I think that they're going to win this, and at minus 150 money, especially when we've been showing you the success of the Corsi 4 percentage, the possession metrics, all those things throughout playoff success. Those have told us, even back a couple years ago, remember, this model picked the Florida Panthers to defeat the Boston Bruins when the Boston Bruins were coming off the President's Trophy. That happened, and it's because of Corsi metrics, it's because of possession metrics. Same thing this year. It could pick St. Louis to go deep with Winnipeg and to eventually defeat them. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen, but I'm trying to tell you is that those are the metrics you need to look at when you're talking about playoff hockey. Playoff hockey is a different animal than regular season hockey. Carolina happens to be the best team, ranking number one in those metrics. You have to take that into account, and I am. So, like always, we'd like to thank you guys for watching. We hope that you got some awesome information from this video. Now, don't forget to subscribe to Grandstand Sports Data for more great shows like this one. Also, don't forget to give this video a like, share with your friends, and then leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win the series. That's all for now, and we'll see you guys in the next one.